Hello and welcome back to Couture Chronicles. If you're new here, I'm Daisy and I am attempting to make from scratch the most fabulous, glittery fantasy dresses of my wildest dreams, because I definitely can't afford to buy one. Last episode, I was creating a mock-up from an old bedsheet. If you haven't seen it yet, you can check that out right here. On today's episode, I'm going to be waging war on two fronts, battling not only the bloody pleats, but also time. So, without further ado, let's get stuck into making a paper pattern and a twirl in episode number 3. Okay, so first off, I have my pattern paper and I'm just quickly sellotaping that together because the sheets aren't long enough. The first piece I decided to go for was the central geometric piece, which I'm quickly just trimming up and cutting it into the shape that I had pinned ready to trace. And now that that's done, you can see the rocks are coming out again, but this time they are useful because they're weighing down the red piece so that it stays still while I trace around it. As soon as that's traced, what I'm doing is just marking up 1/2 inch around the circumference of my trace line, which will act as my seam allowance. And then all I do is I just repeat this same process for all of the other red pieces until each piece has a paper twin. I'm also taking quite a bit of care to mark up all of the pleats with extra long marks and even sometimes arrows pointing in the direction that I think I should fold the pleats in. I just figured that I had a hard time creating the pleats, and the more information that I have, the better. I just need all the help I can get. So for the second mock-up, or twirl, and for anyone who's not sure what I mean by twirl, it's just the technical name for this second test dress to iron out any fit issues before cutting into the final expensive fabric. And for this, I'm using a very cheap polycotton. It was 50p a metre. I bought it years back in Walthamstow Market, originally to make some quick curtains, but like with everything that's not fun, it never happened. Now all the pattern pieces are cut out, ready to go, but I'm not. Life completely skewers my plan. It wipes out the last week of April and most of May. I'm now nearly a month out. I'm not too worried just yet. I tend to focus quite a lot more when I have some hefty time pressure, so fingers crossed we're all okay. I'm back on it again, and I give the cut out pattern pieces a quick serge to stop the edges of them fraying, and I'm just doing that using my sewing machine because my overlocker is out of commission at the moment. And I do that by just going over all of the edges with a quick zigzag stitch. And then I'm also sewing together the pattern pieces for the strap and the back diamond because those pieces have a front and a back. And then after I've done that, just quickly turning them inside out, ready to drape. And who would have guessed that serging would take more than one day? So here I am, back again for another session, quickly finishing the serging of the top, because I left the worst till last. Okay, now to drape the second mock-up. Let's see if it actually works. And as you can see, shock horror, I'm having trouble with the draping again. Those pleats don't like me. I'm having a feeling it's slightly personal now. After I'm finally happy with how the pleats look, I give it a quick steam with my iron, and then I get some lovely vibrant pink thread so that I can see it against the white, and I start tacking down the seams with all the pleats on the shoulder and under the bust, just to hold those pleats in place while I assemble the rest of the dress. Now I'm trying to drape the side panel, and once again, easier said than done, I decided in the end to pin the front geometric panel just as a guide to help me get the side panel in place. And after I did that, it was a lot easier. Then once again, just tacking those side pleats in place with my bright pink thread, just to keep them where they all are. So I was pretty happy with how the first side panel went in, but I didn't have enough patience to wait to put the second side panel in, so I decided I'd skip that for the time being and add in the cape and the back straps and the diamond. I popped the cape in first, and then after I added in the straps and the diamond, I realised I popped that in too low and it would be a little bit exposing. So I quickly brought that up. But I ran out of time. I was on such a roll and I was feeling so pumped with how much I'd managed to achieve that day that I just couldn't leave it there. And I actually started pinning the second side panel as soon as I got home from my workout, which is why I'm looking like a complete sweaty Betty in this video, sorry. But then to quickly finish off the evening, because it was getting late, I just machine sewed all of the seams together, which was big progress. However, the next morning, when I popped the sewn toile back on the mannequin, I was ready to cry. So I'll hand you back over to past Daisy to explain why.
I've been making the toile for about a week now. It's not going all right. I'm so frustrated with it. I thought it would be a lot easier than it is. It's just taking so much time, and I don't have the time. I thought, you know, I'd cut out the pattern pieces. I wouldn't care about the finish. I just whiz it all together on my machine, make sure that it's like structurally okay, and then, you know, move on to the actual thing. But it's not going like that. And the longer I spend on the twirl, the less time I've got for the actual dress. And there's only 34 days left until we go to the greatest night of the jazz age. Which sounds fine, but I'm not here for 7 of those. So that's actually only 27 days to finish the twirl and make the whole entire dress. And I want to do beading and all loads of fancy things, and the main dress I'm going to have to finish off a load of it by hand. Actually, most of it by hand. So I'm feeling the pressure right now. So look at the dress. I think the top of it is looking really nice. I'm actually not unhappy with that. We've got this top darty bit here, and I think I'm just going to have to catch it at the bottom here, just to hold that in place, because that's not staying. But the rest of it, I'm kind of happy with that, and also really happy about the straps. You know, I think so. The top half I really like. A slight problem here, you can see the armholes are gaping, which obviously we didn't have when we had it all pinned down, and I think that's just because there's not enough tension on the bodice. At the minute it's all really loosey-goosey. And so then that brings me to the main thing that I'm not happy about, and that's these side pieces. I mean, both sides. I mean, for some reason I ended up with 50 million yards of fabric still. I know I gave myself a seam allowance, but I don't think I gave myself that much seam allowance. And then you can see, like, at the top here, it's not sitting. I'm going to unpick all of this. And then here as well, you know, when I had this pinned out, I guess tension will help, but it just doesn't seem to sit right. And I know I need to pin the pleats in place here with some tacking thread maybe. Okay, so positives. We are going to crack on, because I am stubborn and I don't give up on anything. So how are we going to fix this? So my plan today is I'm gonna unpick these side bits here because it is annoying me and I can't carry on looking at it. Then after that, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a waistband internally, just a small one, just along the waist ofs, and hopefully that will provide a bit of structure, and we can attach the top to it, and we can attach some of the side panels to it. And as it's the smallest part of the dress, then hopefully it will hold everything together and provide a bit of stability. Also, what I was thinking I could do is create a second one of this front panel, but for the inside, like interfacing, again, I can sew the top to it, I can sew the side bits to it, and it just adds as a bit of tension inside to keep the whole bit together. I think because of all the pleats, beautiful as they are, we're just missing a load of tension to keep it all together. So that is the plan for today. Hopefully I'm gonna spend all day hammering it, and let's see where we get to, which I really hope we do get somewhere, because tomorrow I plan to go to a haberdashery and to get the silk and try and start doing some of that. So yeah, I'm not going to beat myself up if we don't get there, because I probably won't get there today, but we're going to give it best efforts. Wish me luck.
And on that cheerful note, I'll see you next time, where I'll go shopping for some silk, I'll learn how to bead, and I'll try and fix this toile in time to wear it to the opera. Catch you then! Hello and welcome. Hello. Ew, what is that? Also time. That sounds fucking weird. There. And I started